will be a mock session on Maths 145. I hope I'm audible to all of you. Are you audible now? Yeah, the first few minutes we are waiting for some post permissions. Yeah, I hope I'm audible now. Yeah, thank you. So if there is anything you can always stop me because I'm not audible or neither of you is there. You can stop me. Yeah, so we'll be discussing some of the questions from the mock question paper from Maths 1. So as we go, we start with this simple question. Question goes like this: which of the following options are correct? So here on the left, we have given four options. They are basically four different statements, mathematical statements. You have to identify which of them are true, which are true. So take one statement at a time and evaluate the statement and identify whether it is correct or not. So we'll take some time and we'll give you some time to solve this question. And meanwhile, if anyone wants to attempt solving it, you can come forward. Okay, I think Swati has answered correctly. Swati, would you like to solve it? First, let's give all the learners some time to look at the question and try to solve it. Yeah, even I don't know who is Swati. There was a name, someone by the name Swati who had answered the question. Now Anchal has also answered it. So that's how I know your names. Otherwise, I don't know who's who. So here I will also discuss three key points to answer this question. So now look at the screen on the right. So for two lines to be perpendicular, we know that the product of their slopes has to be equal to -1. So that concept we will be using to evaluate whether the statement one is correct or not. And for the remaining three statements, we have to know how to find the vertex of a parabola. So for which when parabola is represented in its general form, y equal to x square plus bx plus c, where a is not equal to 0. So the x coordinate of the vertex will be given by minus 3 by 2a. So once you know the x coordinate, you can always find the y coordinate by substituting the value of x in the equation. So, anyone wants to try this? Nice volume discussion. There's some issues with the voice. Issue. I'll try to pitch up my voice. I hope it is audible now. Audible now. Hope it is clear. Okay, audible, but it's not very clear this way. Okay, let's see how it goes. Okay, does anyone want to solve this? I'll wait for another 2 minutes maybe. If no one wants to come forward, then I'll give the solution. Okay, next question. If nobody wants explanation, so we cannot declare like that, right? And there may be some people who require some explanation. Yeah, I understand the question. It's simple. Yeah, you must know the formula, but at the same time, when you get to know the formula, you have to be careful where to apply them. Like there were some earlier in the earlier sessions also where I conducted, there were some confusions relating to how to apply which formula, particularly distance between two lines. So people got confused while applying it when the slopes are not same. And the numbers coefficients, for example, distance between two lines, while the coefficients A1, A1, A2, B1, and B2, C1, C2 were not same, but they ended up applying that C1 minus C2 by root of A square plus B square formula. So they got wrong answers. So, I mean, caution is you have to be careful when you are applying formula where it is valid that you have to be very careful. Past recordings are available on YouTube and links are given in the portal, student portal. Yes, they are. Okay, coming back to this question, no one wants to answer this. Those who have answered 1 and 3, would you like to explain? Someone wants to explain? Ram Vikas said yes. Okay, link for exam will be available in some other place. This is not the exam itself. This is a live session based on the mock questions. And mock exam is also taking place simultaneously. You would have obtained the link elsewhere. Yeah, please explain, Ram. Yeah, you can unmute yourself and explain. Okay, unmute option is log. May I request the host to allow them to unmute themselves? Are you able to unmute yourselves now? No? No, this test will not be considered for grading. This is a mock test only, mock for the final exam. So this is just to make you comfortable with the kind of questions that will be asked in the final exam. They will not be similar to this, but just to give you a feel of how the questions are going to be, they are conducting mock. Then I'm just trying to request permission for muting. No, I've already unmuted them. Can you please check match support? Yeah, now I heard some voices. Yeah, now I can hear you. So, Ram Vikas, can you attempt to say that you would like to attend? Still can't unmute.
Okay. Yes, sir. Oh, okay. Okay. Yes, sir. Okay.
Someone wants to annotate. No, we cannot allow you to annotate. You can speak. So, match purely post can Can we try unmuting? Can we give permissions for learners to unmute themselves? Is there a way to do it? Okay, some of them are requesting permissions to annotate in cover annotation. See, Max audio host, can you please confirm whether you can unmute or not, or should I proceed with the same group? No. Okay, David, could you check? No, I'm not, we are not calling learners to unmute, but we are waiting for them to unmute themselves. So I am able to get some pointers.
Hello?
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Yeah, Sudarshan already posted. Your name, sir?
Yeah, I'm selection.
117, sir.
Yeah, students are requesting to unmute themselves.
Yes, sir. Post.
Is it done?
Oh, yes. Oh.
Sudarshan, can you hear me? Sudarshan, can you hear me?
Yeah, yes. Yeah, I can hear.
Yeah. Yeah, they made me co-host. I'll just check the muting options. Okay.
Okay.
You carry on. I'll see.
கண்டு கூட இல்லம்மா அவங்க இவனுங்க
Yeah, okay. So
சொல்லிட்டான்
the
டேய் கொஞ்ச நேரம் சும்மா இருங்கடா அப்படின்ட்டான் ஒரு பையன் இங்கே அந்த குரூப்லயே கொஞ்ச நேரம் அமைதியா இருங்கடா அப்படின்ட்டு
wait, co-host,
ஒன்லி
they
ஃபார்
are able to
கேர்ள்ஸ்
hear
அப்புறம்
you.
நாங்க எதுக்கு உள்ள
Kindly, no, kindly check your voice. Kindly keep your discussions between yourselves on the same. Yeah, there are some technical issues some pointed out. It's because they are not expected. So yeah, so we look at the solution for first question. So first we take one option at a time. Um, yeah.
Hi,
Hello.
Sudarshan. Can I
Yes.
just, yeah, so they can unmute themselves, okay?
Hello. Hello.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yes,
Thank
we can
you.
unmute now, sir.
Yeah. Now because wanted to answer this. Or anyone else who
So,
wants to
yeah,
present.
you already are showing the solution.
Yeah, I have moved
So,
back. So now you can try and answer.
so the first option, if we check, first line is in the form of ax plus by plus c, and its slope would be minus b by a in this case, which is minus 7 by 3. And for the second line, if we
No,
simplify
first
it into the
slope of the
similar
first
form,
line. The slope of the first line is not minus 7 by 3. Can you check again? When it is in the form ax plus by plus c, what is the slope? Yeah, correct. Minus 3 by 7, right? Not minus 7 by 3. We can't unmute ourselves. Okay. How come the problem has come up? Okay, and moving on to the solution. So, yeah. So we can see that the first statement, we can see that the slope of the first equation 3x plus 7y plus 5, and we call it m1, and the other equation x by 3 minus y by 7 equal to 1 is written in the form of intercept form x by a plus y by b equal to 1. So there again we can get the slope in a similar way. So when we find that m1 times m2, that is the product of the slopes, is nothing but minus 1. So the two lines are perpendicular. So this is a correct statement. The first statement is a correct statement. So about the remaining three statements, it's about the same equation, same parabola, that is y equal to, we have y minus 5 equal to 3 times x minus 4 the whole square. So we have to find the vertex of this parabola. So the options are, one option says vertex is at the origin, and other two options say vertex is at the point 4, 5 or 5, 4. So to find the vertex, we use this formula that x coordinate of the vertex is given by.
Voice is pretty low. Is there anything you can do about it?
Okay, now what I can do about it is, one thing is I can raise my voice. I hope that will be better.
Can't hear anything clear.
Okay. Now can you hear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So yeah, I'll raise my voice a little bit so that it's audible. Yeah. So about the remaining three options, we have to find the vertex of the parabola y minus 5 equal to 3 times x minus 4 the whole square. So for which to find the x coordinate of the vertex, we use the formula minus b by 2a. So first we write the parabola in the form ax squared plus bx plus c. So that is 3x squared minus 24x plus 53. So once we write that, then we get the vertex by using minus b by 2a. So that will come out to be 4. And once you find 4, you can substitute the value of x equal to 4 in the y equation, y equal to 3x squared minus 24x plus 53. We'll get y equal to 5. So 4 comma 5 will be the vertex of the parabola. So second option says origin is the vertex, so that is not correct. And third option says 4 comma 5 is the vertex, so this option is correct. And fourth option says 5 comma 4, the other mirror point of case, 5 comma 4 is the vertex, so it is wrong. So options 1 and 3 are correct, and 2 and 4 are wrong. So to attempt such questions, this is a basic question only. You just need to know basic formula, like what is the condition for two lines to be perpendicular, two straight lines to be perpendicular, and how to find the vertex of a parabola. So moving to, can you please show us with? Okay. Okay, there is one more form as we see on the right side. There is one more form that I want you to make. That in general, if we can write a parabola in this form, like y minus k equal to mu times x minus h the whole square, where mu is any real number. So vertex is also given by h comma k. So this is what we see in the equation. So the equation, the parabolic equation we had was y minus 5 equal to 3 times x minus 4 the whole square. So where h and k are nothing but 4 and 5. So this is also one form of writing a parabola. That is y minus k is some constant times x minus h the whole square, where h comma k is the vertex of the parabola. So we move to the next question. So read the question at the top. Let S1 be the set of irrational numbers between 0 and 1, and S2 be the set of rational numbers between 0 and 1, including both 0 and 1. And S be the closed interval 0 to 1. Okay. So S is the set of real numbers, all real numbers between 0 and 1, including both 0 and 1. And S1 is the set of irrational numbers. Irrational numbers, examples like where it cannot be represented in the figurative form, like we take 0.1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, like that. So that is, those are irrational numbers. And S2 be the set of rational numbers between, the limit is between 0 and 1. So you have three sets now, S1, S2, and S. So which of the following options are correct? So the options are given below. S1 intersection S2 is an empty set. S1 union S2 is equal to S itself. And S1 union S2 is a proper subset of S. S2 is a finite set. And S minus S2 is equal to S1. So these are the options. You have to find out which one of them is correct. So again, we'll give some time. And if someone wants to attempt it straight away, you are welcome. Otherwise, we'll wait for 1 or 2 minutes. Meanwhile, how was week 4 and what is the feedback for the open session, extra special session that you had last week? Hope it was useful. Okay. So now, what is the general feedback from learners that are you all comfortable with week 1? Because previously there were a lot of queries about week 1. While you try to answer this question, I am also asking this. No, you don't have to worry about failing. It's just an attempt. You can, if you prepare well, you can get good marks in final examination. So still some time to go for the final exam. So if you guys have any particular issues on certain topics, we can cover them again.
Sir, I think option 1 and option 3 are the answers.
It's not okay. May I know who it is? Just now someone answered. Can you get that?
Sir, Jyoti here. Sir.
Yeah, no need to introduce yourself, but just get back to the speaker. Yeah, how do you say that option 1 and option 3 are correct? Can you qualify it?
Sir, S1 intersection S2 is an empty set. It will be an empty set. Rational number and irrational number intersection will be an empty set.
Okay, so they are mutually exclusive. They are empty. It's an empty set. That's it. There.
And S1 union S2 will be a proper subset of S because S is closed interval of 0 and 1.
S1 union S2, not S1 S2 individually. S1 union S2 must be a proper subset of S. So what is S1 union S2?
There will be a set of rational and irrational numbers
So what is
between
that?
0 and 1.
Yeah, so what is that? All the numbers, including all the rational numbers and all the irrational numbers between 0 and 1. If you combine them, and what is that? What does it give you? Can you get back, Mr. Jyoti, Prabhakar? Yeah, we're just trying to help you. It's okay. You're wrong.
Sir, I think the set of real numbers.
Yeah, correct. So just be confident. Yeah, correct. So S1 union S2 will be set of real numbers in the interval 0 and 1. Right, so option 2 should be correct. And what is the proper subset? What do you mean by a proper subset? Does anyone want to say this?
Sir, I think the correct
Well,
options
what
are
is the
already
proper
in
subset?
bold.
Yeah, yeah. That has come out and so that's okay. Let's ignore that. But try to answer my question. What is a proper subset?
So the third option cannot be true because for S1 and S2 to be a proper subset, they cannot take any value of S.
Means they can take, right?
I mean, they can take values of S, but it cannot have all the values of S. Wherein it says that S1 and S2 are inclusive of 0 and 1.
Yes. S1, we are talking about not individually S1 and S2. We are talking about S1 union S2. As I said, let's say set A equal to S1 union S2. Now that A is a proper subset of S or not is the question.
Not been able to explain, but to my understanding, that's not a proper subset of X.
Yeah, that is
Can I
correct.
speak?
But you'd like to know how did you arrive at this answer?
Because I remember reading that for A to be proper subset of S, it should have the values of S, but it cannot have the entire S. It cannot be equal to S.
Correct, correct. So it cannot be this A given by S1 union S2 cannot be equal to S,
Right.
but it can. Yeah. So it has to be properly contained within S. Right. But in the previous statement, just now we proved that S1 union S2 is equal to S.
Right.
So it cannot be a proper subset. It can be a subset of S, but it cannot be a proper subset of S.
Right.
Okay, so I hope that is clear. So anyone else wants to answer the remaining two options?
I think third one is derived out of the second one. Last one is driven out of second one itself. That is,
correct.
if
Correct. Correct.
S1 plus S2 equal to S, then S minus S2 has to be S1.
So second and fourth are related, I guess.
Second
So actually, I wanna
all of
ask
them
Second
are
and fifth,
related.
second and
See, all of them are related to the
Second and fifth are
given
related.
statements only.
how to solve that one.
So 5, someone has answered that 5 is also correct. What about option 4?
S2 cannot be a finite site because the rational numbers cannot be finite.
There are infinite rational numbers. How can it be a finite?
Yeah, between any two numbers, you will get infinite. Correct.
Yeah.
So I'm also giving the solution for this. That yeah. So between 0, 1 is S is the set of real numbers, and then we are saying that S1 is the set of irrational numbers, and S2 is a set of rational numbers. Then when you take the union of both S1 and S2, it comes out to be S. So that means they are nothing but a complement of each other, these two sets. So S minus S2 will be S1 and similarly the other way around. And for the about the proper subset, we just answered that for a set to be a proper subset of another, it has to be well contained inside the other set. But here we saw that S1 union S2 is equal to S. So it cannot be a proper subset. It can be a subset of S, not a proper subset of S. So hence on option 3 is not correct. And option 4 is also not correct. The other three options are correct.
So can I request you to explain the logic of option 2 once again?
Option 2.
Yeah.
Okay. Option 2 is S1 union S2. So S1 is nothing but set of all irrational numbers, and S2 is set of all rational numbers, both in the interval 0 and 1. Now S we know that it is set of all real numbers in 0 and 1. So if you take a union of all the rational and the irrational numbers, what is left?
Right. It
So
covers
it
it all.
covers natural numbers, it covers integers, everything. So nothing is left in the universe. Universe is nothing but real number.
Right. Right.
So nothing is
Sir, can you
left.
please explain
So
first
hence,
first option actually, sir? I'm not able to like trace it, trace it out. How it is happening.
so S1 is the set of irrational numbers, and S2 is the set of rational numbers. So can you give me some example of irrational numbers between 0 and 1? Some random
The
example.
rational numbers will be like half or 1/4.
Yeah, correct. So these are rational
Irrational
numbers.
numbers will be maybe 1/√2, 1/√3, many infinite numbers, something.
Yeah. So, So where the decimals keep do not repeat, but do not repeat in many certain numbers. So they cannot be represented in many p by q form. So these two numbers sets are mutually exclusive, right? So they cannot
Yes, sir.
intersect with each other.
Yes.
So S1 and S2 cannot intersect with each other because they are completely different sets. One is irrational, one is rational. A rational number cannot be rational. A number can either be rational or irrational. A number cannot be both rational and irrational at the time. So they are mutually independent. So that means intersection of those two sets, it must be an empty set.
Okay.
Yeah. Any other questions related to this question? Question 2.
Sir, why is the second option wrong?
Second option is
Second
correct.
option is correct.
Okay.
We just explained how second option is correct.
Could you please explain the third option?
Yeah. So you agree that second option is correct, right? So when S1 union S2 is equal to S, so that means you take a set, let's call a set A, which is equal to S1 union S2. Now A is equal to S. Okay. So now we have to check whether A is the proper subset of S or not. No, I'm not approving the request for annotations. I'm not requesting. Sorry. So you can speak if you want. You can speak out. So here, when we call a set A, S1 union S2, so for it to be a proper subset of S, A has to be contained inside S. It cannot be equal to S. It has to be contained inside S. Then it's a proper subset. If it is equal to S, then we say it's only a subset, not a proper subset. For it to be a proper subset, it has to be well contained inside S. Okay, for example, S1, S2, if you take them individually, S1, S2, they are individually proper subsets of S. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, individually S1 and S2 can be said to be proper subsets of S. But S1 union S2, since it's equal to S itself, it cannot be a proper subset of S. It can be a subset of S because it equals to S. I hope it is clear, the person who asked this. If you say yes, we can move to the next question.
Yes, sir, it is. Thank you.
So again, it's one more question we have on one of the topics from week one. So which of the following functions is or are onto? That is subjective. So you have multiple correct options here. So these are the 5 options. I'll read out the options one by one. So first option, a function is defined from R to N. Okay. So R to N means the domain is in R and range is in N. And f of n is defined in such a way that 0, it's not tough to just clean. It can appear mathematical, but it's very straightforward and you just have to look at these options carefully. So first option is f of n equal to f of n is equal to 0 when n becomes the q. So that is n is a rational number and it's 1 otherwise. Okay. So this is about the first option. And second option is the function is defined from n to n, that is both domain and range of the function is in n natural number. And f of n is defined as n when n is even. If n is odd, n plus 1. Let's say, for example, n equal to 3. So that means f of 3 is equal to 3 plus 1, 4. If n equal to 4, f of 4 would be equal to 4. So that's how the function takes values. And option 3. Next option is we use to come like this. Function is defined from n to n. And f of n is n if n is odd, and it's to n otherwise. So that is odd number if n is odd, you will get odd number itself. And if it is not odd, then you get 2 times that n. Then you get even numbers for the function value. So option 4, function is defined as n by 2 if n is even and n plus 1 otherwise. And option 5, in all the options, be careful to note the domain and range of the function given above. Like it's given n to n, n to r to n, and that's nothing but domain and range of the function. That is important to know to find out whether the function is surjective or not. For option 5, f of n is equal to n for all n real. So these are the 5 options. So take time, think about this, and if someone wants to answer, then please happen. Subjective functioning has been discussed in detail before, but I'll explain again. So a function will be subjective onto if the codomain of the function is not the same as the range of the function. So what is domain and codomain? Domain is nothing but all the values that x can take. Okay, so if we say f of x is a function. So f is a function depending
Sir,
on
can other
x.
people mute themselves? There are background noises coming from.
That we can request them. Yeah, we can request them, but I hope they are not muted. Nobody is speaking of them. So I was trying to explain what is a surjective function. There is a function surjective. That is really codomain of the function is same as the range of the function. So range is nothing but for all the given domain values. So let's take option 1 first. So in option 1, the domain is nothing but R, real numbers. So for all values in the real number, what all values the function can take is nothing but the range of the function. So that is also given here, range is going to be n. Okay. So if codomain of the function is also same as the range. So codomain is nothing but all possible values that the function can take. Okay, but actual values the function takes is nothing but the range. So I think we have seen these examples already. So although the table is not there, I will just quickly give a brief example. So if I give you 2 tables, Okay, one table with names and one table with countries to which the names belong to. Let's take cricket players' names. So let's take three players' names. One, two, three. One is let's take Virat Kohli, Rohit Sharma, and let's take the third name to be some other country. Let's say Joe Root. So we also have one more table on the right. So that is nothing but list of countries. We have to include India and England. Okay, let's have three countries: India, England, and Australia. So we have two columns now. One column is names. It says Virat Kohli, Rohit Sharma, and the third one is Joe Root. And one other column is list of countries: India, England, and Australia. Now I'm saying that you map the names versus the country. So Virat Kohli and Rohit Sharma can be mapped to India, and Joe Root can be mapped to England. And Australia country is not mapped. We don't have any element in the names. So here let's see this as the first column, names column is the domain, and the list of countries column as the codomain. Okay. So what is the range of this function? What function values? What values the function can take for these names? The function can take the map values of nothing but India and England. So there is one more element in the column of codomain. Codomain contains three elements: India, England, and Australia. So there is an extra element in the codomain, Australia, which is not mapped to any of the elements in the domain. So that means codomain is not same as the range. The range of the mapping is India, England, only two elements of the range. And the codomain of the functional mapping is three. That is India, England, Australia. So in this case, codomain is not same as the range. So that means this function cannot be subjective. So when codomain is same as the range, we call the function subjective. So is that example clear? We have discussed this in the times before also. Whoever asked this question, is that clear? Yeah, thank you. So can we solve this? Take one option at a time and answer one by one. Someone wants to answer?
Yes, sir.
So
Can I
1,
try this
3,
one?
and 5.
Sorry?
Option 1, 3, and 5.
Answer you, please answer. Take one option at a time and answer it how. So you take option one and now you answer it how. You say one is subjective, right? You say one is subjective, you have to tell me how it is.
Can I try this one?
Yeah. Anyone?
So I don't think the first option can be right, because the only values in the codomain that will be having a map in the domain will be 0 and 1 with this function. The rest of them won't have any map, so that's why I think it
So
won't be a surjective.
F can take values in the entire set. But here in the codomain in this range, we are seeing that it can take only 0 and 1. But in the codomain, it has entire range. So that means you
That's
cannot,
why.
so that means not same as range. So one is not subjective. Correct. So what about the remaining options?
I, what about the second one?
Yeah, you can try. Pick any
Okay.
option. Try.
So option 5 is subjective because
Is this the same person or different
same
person?
person.
Okay, then we give you a chance to give
Okay.
others answer.
Okay. Sorry.
No, it's okay. If you are confident, we don't have to refuse. Someone else is not confident, so we are giving them chance to improve their confidence. That's it.
Okay, sir.
Hello,
Yeah.
sir. Question 16, sir.
Yeah, yes. First one is already answered. By
Question
Ram.
16.
Sorry?
Question 16.
Question?
16.
No, I can't hear you. I'm sorry.
He's asking for the
So
16th
he is,
question,
yes.
but we are
16th
going in
question.
order. Yeah, last
But
one.
where is the 16th question? Oh, in the mark.
The mock 16th question.
Okay, okay. See, I'm not taking it. All the questions from the mark. We are only trying to discuss some of the questions. Few questions from the mark. We won't be answering all the questions from the mark. Because exam is going on. So once exam is over, after some time, solutions will also be uploaded. So
Excuse me, sir.
meantime, meanwhile, for those of you who want help in solving or want to know how these questions are solved, so we are arranging for this session. You can use this session to solve with us. So we won't be discussing all the questions from the mark here.
Sir, can you please mute Apple? Actually, your voice was already not clear, and now his background voice is too much.
Okay, then now there is no background voice. I'm sorry. There is anything.
Okay, right. Yeah, he's been muted. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, Sudarshan, I muted him. Yeah. Sorry, carry on, please carry on.
Yeah. So anyone else wants to try? Remaining options?
Sir,
Option 1 is
option
answered.
2 is subjective because
How?
every number, every national number will be covered and it will have a pre-image.
How do you say so?
So
Okay,
because
can I
in
give
n
you some
plus,
example? Okay, I give you an example. You tell me it is right or not. So you pick n equal to 3. So what is f of 3?
4,
Right, because 3 is odd, 4. So if
yeah,
you take n to be even, if n to be odd you are taking, like 3, 5, 7 odd, still you get even number only because n plus 1 will come. If you take n to be even, then also you will get even number because f of n will be equal to n if n is even. Right, so always you will get only even numbers. The function can take only even number values.
Sir, sorry to interrupt you, but you are not audible. Your voice is very low.
So what I'm saying is even when you take, when you substitute, try to substitute different values for n in the second option, if you take odd number of values for n, you'll get n plus 1 as the function value. N plus 1 will always be even. If n is odd, n plus 1 will be even. So if you assume n to be even, then f of n will take even value only because f of n will be equal to n if n is even. So that means f of n will always take only even values. Either n or n plus 1, whichever way, f of n is always going to take only even values of the set of natural numbers. Do you agree?
yes sir,
So what you said was not correct, right?
yes sir.
All the numbers do not have a pre-image. So only for
While I agree with, while I agree that option 2 is not subjective, but I still could not connect to the logic which you were saying that f of n can only take even. Because if it's take odd, well, let's say, does that mean that it doesn't fulfill the first condition? That's why it will be out. That option will not be taken.
No, not that. See, I'll explain. I have answered it fully. What I'm trying to say is, f of n cannot take odd values at all. It can take only even values. So it can take values like 2, 4,
Even
6,
n,
8, 10.
even n, right?
Yeah, for even n or odd n, it can take only even values.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So there will be odd values in the codomain which are not taken up by the function. So there will be some values in the codomain which do not belong to the range of the function. Right?
Yes, sir. Noted. Noted.
So there are values in the codomain which are not, which do not belong to the range of the function. So hence codomain is not same as the range. So option 2, the function is not surjective. So going to option 3. Option 3 is slightly tricky. Anyone wants to answer?
Sir, I don't think it will be surjective because again, if you put any number into n, you will get a even number.
No, if n is odd, it's odd only, right? See, if n is odd, then f of n is equal to n, right? N is odd. Yeah, always be careful. Read the option carefully and then accept. So n can take odd values also here. Or f can take odd values too.
Yes, sir. So option 3 is subjective because it can take both odd and even values.
It can take both odd and even, yes, but does not
Some
guarantee
values.
you. But does it guarantee you that it can take all the values in the natural numbers set?
Yes, sir. For example, fn will never be 2.
For example?
For example, the value of fn can never come as 2, number 2.
Yeah. Why?
Because for that you'll have to multiply it by 1. And then if that
Yeah, one
happens,
will
then
be
you'll.
odd. So it can never take the value 2. It can take all other values except 2. Do you agree? Can you check? The function can take all values of the natural number set except 2. Can anyone confirm this?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Agreed.
So what does it mean?
It is not surjective.
Why?
Because it does not take the number 2.
Yeah. So there is a number 2, there is an element 2 in the codomain, which is not taken up by the functional value. That is, it does not belong to the range. So codomain and range are not same. So option 3 is also not surjective. Okay. So there's just only one value here which the in which the codomain and range they are not the same. So that's why I said you have to be careful in judging the nature of the function. So options 4 and 5, what about them? Anyone wants to answer? Option 4.
So option 4, I feel is subjective because for every y, there would be an x that belongs to n.
So it does not take the number 1, so it's not surjective.
It does
You
take
say
the number 1 when
one. So what
n
is
is
the
to
value
1.
of
It is
2?
subjective, sir.
No,
It
what is the
is.
value of f of 2?
I guess it is not surjective because it will always give an even
Let's
value.
go step by step. What is the value of f of 2?
Yes, sir. F of 2 is 1. Sorry.
Yeah, okay. Then anyone else will say?
இப்போ அவங்க பேசுவாங்க கேளுங்க வெடிக்கிறவே இப்படின்னு சத்தம் கேட்டுருப்பாங்க நான் ஃபர்ஸ்ட் அந்த சத்தம் நினைச்சிருந்தேன் அப்புறம் இதுல இருந்து வருது அதோட இது ஜூம்ல இருக்கிறதுனால இது கனெக்ட் பண்ணாலும்
Okay, Sneha, we request you to mute yourself if you're talking somewhere else.
Sir, I think it will be surjective.
Yes, sir. It is subjective.
Why?
I agree.
So I believe is fine, but you have to tell me why.
Okay, so it is subject. It is. Sorry, what?
Yep, please answer it. How?
According to me, it should not be subjective because, like I think someone mentioned, the value will always be positive. It will, like,
Yeah, we
if
are
it's
looking at
It will
positive
be even.
values.
It will be
See,
even. The
we are
value will
looking
always
at
be even.
no, we are looking at the set of natural numbers. So we are looking at positive values only.
Okay.
See, one way to go about this is you try all the values of not all the values individually. Like you try even values of n. If n is even, then the functional value will be n by 2. N by 2 is also even. Like if n is even, then n is equal by 2. Then n by 2 is
Sir,
also, n by 2 not necessarily even, sorry. So n by 2 belongs to this natural number n. So if you have an n plus, if you have n to be odd, so then you get n plus 1. So that means that n plus 1 will always be even. So if n is odd, n plus 1 will not, the function value will always be even. If n is even, it can be both odd or even. So you always think about this. For every value in the natural number set, for every value in the natural number set, okay, you can always find a value which is 2 times that value. Do you agree?
Yes, sir. Had it been 2n, then the case would have been different.
So for every value of for every element in natural number set, you can always find a value which is twice that value. Correct. So if you the functional value can always take this value, that is n can be represented in terms of 2 times f of n. When f of n is equal to n by 2, so that means n is f of n by 2. So that means n belongs to natural number set. So you will always find the value 2 times that of it. So for n is given, we cover all the values in the codomain. And when n is odd, otherwise, you cover all the even values. N plus 1 will be even. So this way you will cover all the values in the codomain. So codomain will be same as range. So option 4, the function will be subjective. So what about option 5? This should be straightforward.
Subjective, sir.
Okay. How? Can you briefly say?
Sir, for everything you put in fn, you get n. So every number has a pre-image and an image.
Yeah. So it's a simple function. For every value of n, there is always 3 images. So yeah, someone wants option 1. Can anyone explain option 1? Because one of you wants to know about option 1. Can anyone explain option 1? I've already explained. If someone wants to repeat it, then you're welcome.
Sir, in option 1, the codomain is natural numbers, and here we are only getting 0 and 1. So range is not is equals to codomain in this.
Yeah. So range of the function is going to be 0 or 1. Only 2 elements you can take. But the codomain belongs to the natural number set. The codomain is not same as the range, so hence the function is not subjective. Is it okay? The person who asked this.
No,
Sir,
sir.
I just have a doubt.
Could you please repeat?
Okay, can you repeat? You want to answer this question? Can you repeat? You still have doubt.
Yes, sir. Shall I say option one is correct? I mean, option one is wrong. Shall I say?
Yeah.
Yeah. Basically, for any value of R, okay. So for any value, we'll be getting only the codomain to be 0 and 1.
Not
Sorry,
codomain.
the range to be 0 and 1. So
Zero
they would be, yes, sir.
Yeah, please proceed.
Yeah. So let's take f of 2, f of 2, f of 3, f of 4, be it any number, any value. So you'll be getting 0 and 1 as repeated. But given the codomain is natural numbers, but the range is 0 and 1 only. So we will never get 2, 3, 4, etc. So many numbers are missing. So it's not a surjective
So what
function.
is the condition for the surjectivity?
Codomain should be equal to range.
Yeah. So codomain is not equal to range in this case because range contains only two elements, 0 and 1, and codomain will contain all the elements from the natural number set.
Yes, sir.
Is it
So
clear
my
now?
doubt is, yeah, my doubt is 0 an odd number or even number, sir? What should we consider it?
It's not considered to be odd or even. There can be number which is not even. Why we want to classify it as even or not?
Okay, so but in natural number we are having, so in
Zero
option
does
2,
not come in. Yeah. Natural numbers. You're saying something?
should we take 0 in natural number or not, sir?
Yes, in our course, as Professor pointed out in the beginning, we consider 0 to be natural.
Okay, so in option 2, if you are taking f of 0,
okay,
where should we consider, sir? Which one should be considered? Should be considered as
0,
even or
0 plus 1? It's not even. It's given otherwise, right?
Okay, okay, sir. So it's not also it's not also odd. So
Yeah.
okay, yeah, okay then. Thank you, sir.
Okay, so we move to this question. First three options are not correct. Now options 4 and 5 are correct. So options 4 and 5 represent surjective functions, and options 1, 2, 3 they are not surjective. So they are given the solutions there. So we have already discussed in detail. So we move to another question. This question is about framing an equation for a parabola. Okay. So the question is like this: a newspaper company currently sells 20,000 newspapers per day. When it sells one newspaper at ₹5, it makes a profit of ₹2 per paper. So note that for one newspaper, the selling price is 5 and makes a profit of 2. Okay. So it is observed that if the selling price of a newspaper is increased by X. So now the selling price is increased from 5 to 5 plus X. Then the number of newspapers sold per day decreases by 2000x. So there is some kind of constraint that if you increase the selling price of each newspaper, then the number of newspapers that you can sell comes down by 20,000 minus 2000x. So what should be the selling price per paper in rupees to obtain the maximum profit? So that's the question. So clue will be first see what is profit. Try to write an equation for profit and then see how you can maximize this profit. See, Latika, please don't ask me answer for a particular question. I'm not supposed to discuss answers for all the questions from the mock paper. We are discussing here in this session 3 questions from the mock. And remaining questions and for the entire questions, solutions will be uploaded. So here we are just trying to help you by telling you how you can solve some of the questions. So please try to solve this If someone is already solved, you can come forward to answer this. Okay, anyone answer? What was really know how to solve this? We don't see any messages. Okay.
Sir, I wanted to ask you something from subjectivity.
Okay.
I wanted to ask you if for every codomain, if there is more than one domain, does it affect the subjectivity?
If there is more than one domain, can you give an example for me to understand what you are trying to ask? Like, what do you mean by for every codomain there is more than one domain?
Hello, sir.
Yeah.
So I guess the equation.
Yeah, just tell me step by step what you did.
The final equation for this question would be minus 2000 x square plus 1 lakh x. No, sorry, 10,000 x plus 1 lakh.
Okay, so how did you get this?
So initial price for per newspaper was rupees 5, and we increase it by rupees x. So first part of equation would be 5 plus x, and we would
5 plus x is what? 5 plus x is what?
the new selling price.
Correct. Then
Secondly, first initially 20,000 newspapers were sold per day, and now the number of newspapers sold per day would be decreased by 2000x. So number of newspapers sold now would be 20,000 minus 2000x.
correct.
Therefore, we would multiply these two parts and get
To
the
get what?
equation.
To get the total selling price only you get.
Sir, what are you saying?
No, if you multiply 5 minus 5 plus x and 20,000 minus 2000x, what will
Yes,
you
sir.
get? What is the total number of
We would.
newspapers times the selling price of each paper? So that is nothing but the total selling price.
Yes, sir.
And what we want to maximize, we want to maximize profit.
Sir, how can we maximize this profit?
So first you should know what is profit. When you want to maximize something, first we must know what it is, right?
So profit is selling price minus the cost price, right?
Correct. So what is
So
profit initially?
profit was
It's
initially
given
three.
No, it's given, right?
2
Profit was
rupees.
2 rupees.
Yes,
So
sir.
what
Sorry,
would be
sir. 2.
the cost price?
3, sir.
Cost price is
3
3
minus
rupees.
2. 3 per paper.
Yeah. So that means yes, for a profit of 2%. Now the new selling price is 5 plus X. So what is the new profit? Assuming the cost price is same. Because cost price they have not said anything about it. So assuming the cost price is same. So what should be the new? This
Should be
question is
5.
not based on some magical topic. It's basic on somebody asked what is the topic of this question. There's no thing, but you just make know the basic stuff that profit is nothing but selling price minus cost price. So you as a wholesaler or a dealer or whatever you buy some items wholesale and then you sell. So your profit will be what is left with you after selling. So selling price minus cost price. So yeah, so new selling price is 5%. So what is the new profit?
2 plus X.
How?
So it would be 3 plus X.
No, whatever it is,
It will
how do
be
you get that?
the
The
new
2
profit
plus
will
X because the selling price is increased by rupees X and they've not told that cost price is increasing or anything.
Okay. So initially cost price was 3. So now you find 5 plus X minus 3 is what we have done, right? So can we solve or should we wait for others? Anyone wants to answer this? So this way you get the profit. That's what I mean. This way you get the profit, new profit per paper. So what
Sir,
should be the new profit for the for so many number of papers?
Sir,
That
if
will
you
be the
solve,
profit.
sir, if you solve this quadratic equation, x equal to 10 and x equal to 5. So 5 will not be the answer because it was earlier the selling price. So the new selling price will be 10. So the increase in profit will be 5 rupees.
No, answer is
Increase.
not correct.
So,
We'll see.
sir,
so
can
is
you answer
the
my doubt,
final
sir? What
price
would be new?
Maybe you made some calculation. Yeah, once you get the profit per paper in terms of rates, so
so is the final price rupees 9?
yeah, correct. But how do you get it?
So the equation that we get, it's a downward quadratic equation. So its vertex will be the maximum.
You are saying downward, then it's house maximum. It should be
So which
facing
is
upward.
the coefficient is minus, so it will be ulta. The vertex will
Coefficient
be
is minus, then
on the
it
top.
should be facing up. Sorry, facing down. You're facing down or facing up is what you're saying. Okay. I'm not trying to confuse you, just trying to
So the parabola is open
check
downwards.
your content down. Yeah, fine.
So it's open
So,
downward.
yeah. So that's okay, but how did you get that answer?
So I found the vertex using minus b by 2a.
Yeah. So vertex is gives you the once you find the vertex, then that is the point when profit is maximum.
So, but to find the vertex, we need to find the equation, no?
Equation is what just I said. I didn't say it fully, but I said you have to find profit, represent profit in terms of X, new profit, and then multiply it by new number of papers.
So new profit is 2 plus X, right?
So new number of papers is also there. So you find out, and then yeah, the question was solved. She has to explain how she got 9. Could you wait? Just try. Even if it comes out wrong, it's fine. Just try.
But the equation is 2000 x square minus 10,000 x plus 1 lakh. So I've taken common x square
2000
minus
x
5.
square. Check the sign. Anyway, check the sign.
Minus 2000 x square it would be.
But still, we solve the quadratic equation.
Yes, it's a quadratic equation. No need to solve. We are not looking for the roots of the equation.
Okay, minus b by 2x.
So we are not looking for minus b. We are not looking for a vertex also. What we are looking for when, what is the value of x so that the profit is maximum. And then you want to find the value of x, you can find the value of new selling price, which is nothing but 5 plus x. Okay, I am giving the solution here. Okay, so here you can see when the selling price of one newspaper is 5, profit is 2. So cost price must be 3. So when the selling price of is increased by x, then new selling price is 5 plus x. And so the new profit will be 5 plus x minus 3, which is 2 plus x. So 2 plus x is a new profit per paper. And how many number of papers are there now? 20,000 minus 2,000x. So 20,000 minus 2,000x times 2 plus x. So that is nothing but the total profit per day for all the papers. So that is the equation. 2,000 times or 20,000 minus 2,000x times 2 plus x. Okay, so
So
that.
just a doubt, how come we get the 10 minus x?
Okay, it is simplification only. You don't need to do the same way. You have 2,000 minus 20,000 minus 2,000x. You will take 2,000 common. Then
Oh,
you
sorry,
get
sorry.
10 minus
Got
x,
it,
right?
sir. Got it. Thank you.
You don't need to do that step. You can keep it in that form also. You can keep it in the original form like
Yes, yes,
20,000
yes.
minus 2,000x times 2 plus x. So you can keep it.
Yes, yes.
So the profit will be maximized at x equal to 4 because for this parabola to take a maximum value, so vertex has to be what? Vertex has to be minus b by 2a. So it is nothing but minus 8 by minus 2. So that will be 4. So when x is 4, so this parabola takes some maximum value. So profit is maximized when x is 4. But we are asked what is the new selling price? So new selling price would be 5 plus x, which is nothing but 5 plus 4, that is equal to rupees 9. So is it clear for all of you? Should I wait for any queries on this?
Understood, sir.
Okay, Tejas wants me to explain it. If someone has understood, can you explain? Can anyone of you who has understood this answer, can you explain this? See, one of you wants an explanation. So I'm saying if anyone of you has understood it fully, can you explain? Okay, if there are no further queries, then I'm leaving it. Okay, Tejas says I don't see the total profit. See, total profit is nothing but profit per newspaper times the total number of newspapers. Right, if you are selling one newspaper for a profit of 2 plus X. When if you have 20,000 newspapers on X, so many number of newspapers, then total profit will be both, right? From one paper times the total number of papers, the new total number of papers. Any understand?
Sir, I have a doubt. Sir, can you hear me?
Am I audible?
Yes, sir, you are.
Yeah, Sudarshan.
Yes, sir, you are.
Yeah. So, does that answer the question?
Yes, sir.
So you have supposed to have perpendicular as the coordinates like a single number. You want to find it here. So this is And then the equation we also have a variable k. So using the equation we can find the value of k.
Actually, why am I not able to see the presentation? So is it only for me or for everyone?
Okay.
Everyone.
I will check.
I'm also not able to see the
Hello.
And I'm
presentation.
not
Okay.
able to see the presentation.
Okay, I'll check it again. It is shared only.
Presentation is
Hello.
not viewable.
Okay.
Sir,
You're not able to
this is
see the
Nitin.
screen?
Yeah, just wait.
I
We are
had a
trying to
doubt
figure
about
it out.
the previous question.
Okay, first of all, let's confirm that you are able to see the screen or not.
No, sir, the screen is not visible.
Not visible. Okay. Debajyoti, can you check with them? I
Yeah,
think they have to add me as
no, the
co-host again.
screen is not visible actually.
Yeah, but they have to add me as co-host again. I think. That's why it's not getting shared.
Actually, I also can't add. I am also a co-host, but I can't share my
Yeah,
screen.
they have
Okay,
to
wait.
add me. You can
Yeah, just
alert
wait,
them.
guys. I'll wait, guys. I'll check.
Yeah, anyway, we'll try to answer the question. Somebody I had a question with the previous, I had some query with the previous question. In the meantime, we are trying to get the screen back. So you can tell me.
Yes, sir, it was me. Actually, according to the question, we have to calculate the selling price at which we are getting the maximum profit. Okay. So for getting the maximum profit, the selling price has also to be at maximum. And selling price is nothing but cost price plus anything that we are getting as a profit.
If you see that equation, you got an equation for profit, right? So that was some equation
Sir,
next.
we can't really see the
So it's
screen.
not necessary that if X is maximum, you get selling price to get profit to be maximum.
Okay. No, I was thinking that the equation has to be as
Because yeah,
minus
it
200.
appears that I understand your point. Yeah, now I can share the screen now. Just a second. Yeah, now you can see the screen.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Now we can see it.
So we are talking about the previous question. Right? Yeah. So what we are asking is, generally it is true. See, generally what you are saying is true. I agree that if you want to maximize profit, you would expect that selling price should also be maximum. Given that cost price is fixed, if I keep increasing the selling price, I should get maximum profit. That's what you are guessing. It is generally true, but in this case, you have to be careful because it says the new number of newspapers is also dependent on X, but in an inverse way. See, number of newspapers has come down by 20,000 minus 2,000 X. There is also a dependency on X there. Have you seen that? So it's not straightforward, right? If we increase X, it's not necessary that profit has to increase. If you increase it X, sometimes profit can decrease because there is a minus 2,000 X total number of pages.
Okay.
Is it clear for you now?
Actually, it is not, sir. I was thinking that I should take 3 plus
No,
x
your
into
question.
20,000
Your,
minus 2,000 because the cost price is 3. Yes.
But 3 plus x itself is pretty high. So 3 plus x is not the profit, right? We want to find the total profit. How will 3 plus x with 20,000 times the percentage? You have to take the profit obtained for newspaper and multiply it by the 103 newspapers. Is it clear?
Okay, sir.
So we move to the last question now. So here we already showed the question. So it's about calculating distance between 2 points. So two houses, friends' houses are given by coordinates 5, 5 and minus 5, k. And distance between the houses is given to be 10 kilometers. So you have to find the value of k, which is a real number. So just directly apply distance formula between 2 points. Last question of mock test. I don't have that question in the slides now. Yeah, so because I'm conducting this session from a different place, so I don't have like I cannot annotate and show you how to solve that. So maybe we can discuss some other time. We'll be having some open section on later. At that time we can have detailed discussions. But now we are discussing these 5 questions only. Later all the questions will be solutions for all the questions will be uploaded in the portal for this mock test. So does anyone want to answer this quickly?
Yes.
Yeah, it's a rapid and easy. Somebody said yes. Please proceed.
It's 10 kilometer itself.
What is 10 kilometer itself?
The K value.
K is number, it's not in kilometers. But how did you get it? What did you use?
K is the number means.
That's okay. K can be 10. But what is that you use?
5.
How did you use?
5. The value is 5.
Yeah, but how did you get? That's what we want to know.
I tried to put up a triangle there.
Okay.
And the hypotenuse is.
There are only 2 points, right?
Yeah.
Sir, is it 5?
How do you make a triangle?
Is equal to 5?
So we actually draw the coordinate axis, plotted both the points, that is first Arpita's point that is on 5 and 5, that is on plus x and plus y axis.
Okay.
Then we plot the Pooja's house, that is on the fourth quadrant, that is minus x axis, and the k value is
You don't know. Just hold it on. You don't know minus 5 k point is in the fourth quadrant. You don't know the sign of k.
no sir, but we know that the x coordinate is minus 5, so it will be on the negative x axis. The k value.
Yeah, but why can be positive or negative, right? Why can be negative?
Yes. So there will be a vertical line on which any value of k can be there. That is a plus 5 or minus 5.
Correct.
But considering the value, we are having arbitrary value
Let's
of
not
k.
worry. My point was, let's not worry about where this point is lying. You just have to find the distance between these 2 points.
Correct. So if we using that, and then since we know the distance that is 10 kilometer, we apply the distance formula. That is under root of the difference of the y2 minus y1 square plus x2 minus x1 square, and the value is equal to 10. Solve it, and we get the x minus 5 whole k minus 5 whole square, and k cannot be equal to minus 5, so k should be equal to 5. And that we get k is equal to 5.
You will not get minus 5. You will get only
Yeah. Yes, that's the constraint. K should be plus 5.
Yeah, so here I have shown the solution. So as just correctly said, we have to find the distance, that is the root of k minus 5, 5 minus k the whole square, plus 5 minus f minus 5, which is nothing but 5 plus 5. So distance is nothing but sum of the squares of the differences between the x values and the y values. So under the entire thing value is nothing but 10. So we square it up on both sides. You get 100 plus 5 minus k whole square equal to 100. And then you solve for k. So you get 5 minus k whole square equal to 0. So only way that is going to happen is 5 minus k has to be 0. Because it's a square term. So the term inside the bracket has to be 0. So k has to be equal to 5. That's the one permissible value you get. So
even otherwise, on a logical approach, also we can do this one, is it?
Yeah, you can do that.
Because from 5.5, 5 comma 5, the only possibility for the line to be 10 kilometers away should be parallel to x-axis. So naturally, it should be minus 5 comma 5.
Okay, you are saying y distance is see, you can, it's okay. In this case, with these numbers, you are really able to do it logically, but you may not be able to do it always. So you
Yeah, in
got the
fact,
language.
I just plotted this one, then I started moving along.
Yeah, you plotted. Yeah, for simple numbers, you can plot and find out.
Yeah.
These are simple numbers, 5, 5. So someone is saying minus 5 is rejected. Minus 5 is not a solution at all, first of all. It need not be rejected because it is not there. Where do you get minus 5? It says 5 minus k the whole square has to be 0. So that means 5 minus k has to be 0. The term inside the brackets has to be 0. Because square value cannot be 0 if it is a number. So it can only be 0 when 5 minus k equal to 0. So k must can be only 5. Yeah. So yeah, so we come to the end of this. So thank you for attending. And if there are any other questions, you can ask me now. And these questions, any queries, which one? Which can be discussed now.
Please take to the question 3.
Question 3. Yeah.
So this is the solution. Can you please get to the question?
Yeah. Question 3.
Yes, so here my question. Hello, am I audible?
Yeah,
sir?
yes. Yes, you are audible.
Yes, so I wanted to ask you that.
Just sorry to interrupt you. Soumya asked this marks be counted. No, this won't be graded. This mock exam will not be graded. Yeah, this presentation will be shared. Yeah, please proceed.
It might be silly doubt. I wanted to ask you that if n is 2 and if n is 0, then for both the domains, the
Which option you are
codomain.
talking about?
Option 4. Sorry.
Option?
Option 4.
Okay.
Yes. I was asking you if you remember that if one codomain has more than one domain, does this surjectivity affect?
Okay, now what you are saying, n equal to 2?
N equal to 2 and n equal to 0, answer is the same. The
N
codomain
equal to 2 will be f of n, f of 2 will be equal to 1. Okay, and n equal to 0 also, f of 0 will be equal to 0 plus 1, 1. Correct.
So I wanted to ask you, like one has two images, that is at 2 and 0. So does it affect the surjectivity?
Okay, if there is 1 has 2, zero and f of 2 take into 2. Right. Hello?
You were not
Are you there?
clear there. Could you please repeat?
So both f of 0 and f
Yes.
of 2 take the value 1.
Yes.
So what does it mean?
So does it affect the search activity in any way?
That's what I'm asking you. What does it mean? If you have two values of x for which there is a single value of like two different values of n for you get same value of y. What does it mean? Can you imagine, can you think of this in a graph like you have two different values of x, but single value of y. So what does it mean? Are you there?
No, I'm not able to catch up.
Voice is right.
Yes, but yeah, it is.
No, what you said just now is correct. Oh, okay. You have two values of x, that is two values of n here. For n is equal to 2 and n is equal to 0. You get same value f, that is f of 0 and f of 2 are both equal to 1.
Exactly, yeah.
So what does it mean generally? When have you seen Parabola also you have seen this, right? For two different values of x, you get same value of y, or vice versa. What do you say about such something? Yeah, you are thinking a lot, I think. No, it's simple, right? It's just that it is subjective. It's not, question is not about subjectivity. Two values, for two values, you take same value of f means what does it mean? It means it's not one-to-one.
Oh, all right.
Right. So it's simple only. Why are you thinking for so long? That's true. It is not one-to-one. But here the question is about subjectivity, right? One-to.
Yes.
We just need to check whether domain codomain is same as range of n. And what you said about your observation is absolutely correct. For two different values of n, you get same value of f. So that means it is not one-to-one.
Okay, all right. Thank you so much.
Yeah. So that's what you meant by two codomain or something like that. So I thought you were talking about two different sets of codomains. For a given function, there can be one codomain set only.
Okay, all right. Okay.
Any other?
Sir, will these marks be added?
No, these marks will not be added to the final grade. This is just for practice only.
Okay.
But on being alerted that it's a caution that this mark is, I think, how is the mark? By the way, how is today's mark? Was it easy or okay or very tough?
Sorry,
Sir,
sir,
it
can
is
you
okay.
repeat?
It is okay, sir. It is okay. Sir, what would be
So,
the answer of question number 16? It would be, I think, B, na? 50 upon
I
3
cannot,
parts per million.
I cannot share answer now. Answers will be uploaded. Upload the answer in the portal. Solutions will be uploaded. Okay. So, but what I'm going to do is the final exam may be difficult than this. Like there can be more questions from, particularly from first week topics, because we covered a lot and then we focused a lot and then we will be discussing again topics. So there can be more questions, more interesting questions, but easy questions based on
Hello,
each
sir.
one. Yeah.
Sir,
I'm
in
talking
question
about the
3,
final paper. Yeah. Yes.
we have to exclude one-to-one functions also, or is it only about the surjective?
Which one? This question is about subjectivity, but one is also there in the syllabus.
Right,
This
sir.
particular question is about subjectivity only, only.
Sir, hello.
Only on.
Can you
So only
explain this question briefly?
Which question?
Sir, this one that is on the screen.
Question 3. Yeah,
Yes,
see,
sir.
this is about we gave 5 different kinds of functions. Okay, and then
Okay.
we ask, we are giving the domain and codomain of the functions individually and asking you whether which of the functions are surjective. So for surjective, for a function to be surjective, the codomain of the function should be same as range of the function. So for each of the options, we found that range, what is the range and codomain, we matched it with the codomain. If the codomain is same as range, we say that that function is surjective, otherwise it is not.
Okay.
That's how we did this.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Sir, when do we get the
Uh,
detailed solution, sir? Hello.
Detailed solution.
So your voice is break.
You will get it in a few days,
Yeah.
1 or 2 days.
So,
That
hi,
is
Sudarshan, can I answer this one?
in 2 days time, it will be uploaded in the portal. Yeah, yeah.
Okay, for detail we need to wait for 2 days.
Definitely, please answer in the future.
Yeah, so what Sudarshan was telling is right, guys. So once the mock test is over, I think the time limit is over. I think they will upload the solution. Okay, so there will be 2 more mock tests, and so they will be based on previous qualifiers and everything. So for those also we will upload the solution. So do keep the mock tests, and yeah, we will upload it. I mean, once everything is ready, so the solution is already done, and so it will be available in the portal.
yes,
So
sir.
we'll
Answer,
wait for
yeah,
this
answer is
test
on
to
the
get over,
portal.
then we'll upload. So once the particular test gets over, so within 2 days, you will be that will be sorted. So also the
Do we get a detailed solution?
yes,
Yeah,
you will get
yeah,
the
yeah.
detailed
Answers.
solution.
Sir, can you just is a request? Can you just arrange 1 or 2 sessions, especially for this function part, because
One section for functions alone.
Functions and
Yes.
relations.
We'll have a
Hi,
simple section where we can ask those questions.
Sir, can you explain question number 16? Actually, I'm wrong with this answer. I marked 50 upon 3, but it
Yeah, I can
the
understand,
answer
but
is
unfortunately, I don't have the question in the slide.
sir. You just can explain with the oral answer. Actually, I understand. Just tell me the approach. How can I do this?
What is the question? Can you read out the question?
Sir, what will be the pollution index at 10 p.m.? Its answer is 200 upon 3 part per million.
What is the
Hello.
question?
Sir. Sorry, sir.
Which question is this?
Sir, it is the last one. Question number 16.
If there are no further questions, then I'll answer this question again because I will stop sharing this screen.
Sir,
Then
one
look
more.
into the question.
sir, one more thing,
If
sir.
you have any,
Actually, I lost
yeah,
the connection.
yes.
Sir, just can you arrange for 1 or 2 sessions, especially for this subjectivity, and 1 session for set, just
No,
with
there cannot be.
examples, because
See, this is a minor topic, right? This is one topic of the entire syllabus. So we cannot have one full session on one topic alone. But what we can do
Sudarshan,
is wait. Yes.
yeah, can I just answer this?
Answering that only.
Yeah,
So we can
yeah, Justin. So guys,
we
the
can
thing is,
have. Yeah, please answer. I'm sorry.
yeah, so
Go on.
we had one session on function and
yeah,
relation,
yes, sir, yes, sir.
and
We
so
have.
on the 4th April, and the slides are uploaded today in the portal. So can you check the recording of that and the slides? I think that will be helpful.
Okay. Okay, I'll
Yeah,
check,
just
sir.
check that. Yeah,
Okay.
if there is any problem, tell us in the forum. We will solve your doubt. But just check the in the resources from Instructor tab. There is a problem solving tips. Check that. Then this thing, the slides and the live session video recording. Okay, we absolutely on function and relation only we have. So just listen to that. Then let us know. We will clear the doubts. Okay.
So, Devinity, are we conducting any more open sessions like summary sessions?
We will have one on 16th and one on 22nd, right?
Those are open like summary sessions.
16th is
Sir,
open session. I think we will inform the students.
So we'll
because links will be provided to us via mail regarding the future summary sessions.
Yeah, I mean, of course. I mean, the links are not yet made, but once they are prepared, they will obviously mail to you. Otherwise, how can you attend the session?
Okay.
Obviously, it will be
Thank you,
mailed
sir.
to you.
Thank you.
Okay. Yeah.
Sir, this session only for the explaining the questions, whatever we have in this mock test. So why not we discussing about that?
Sorry.
So with this, especially this session for the expression of the mock test questions. So we have some doubts about our questions.
Yes.
One of the last
About
questions.
the other mock test questions.
Yes, sir. The last question is there in the population question, in which they are mentioning about that.
Yeah, so you will get a detailed solution. Okay.
No, that's okay. I get the detailed solution, but I would like to know how to solve the question. Basically, this now have the only get the one parameter. So we are just finding the rate at there per hour rate because this is a linear expansion. We should finding the rate at there, and after that, when we from 8 p.m. to 12 p.m. the date should be double because let's take the 8 hours to increase from and then down in
Okay, just trying to
only
solve the equation. We don't have the graph here. Yeah.
Yes. So will
Okay,
will you share that?
No, I mean right now we don't have, and we also should wrap up. We will just check the solution and inform us in the forum. We will answer your doubts. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So one more thing I would like to, you have some question banks, in your with you. So we would like to
right.
provide to us. So we solve for a practice for us.
Yeah, right now we don't have, but we will give you the previous qualifier questions in the mock test form. Okay. So you try to solve that. That will be useful.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, Sudarshan, please continue. Yeah, so should we wrap up? Yeah, fine. Please go on. Please finish.
Like is there any partial marking? Like for the question number 12, it's of how many points?
Sorry?
Sir, can you just explain in short
Wanted
about the
to
PMI question in which the curves to be assigned for which category it is belong to? So can you just have small explanation about
Yeah,
it?
the questions about yeah, let's see detailed solution online. We are closing the session now because we are running out of time.
So in total, how many mock
Okay, sir. Okay,
sessions, mock tests would we have in total for particular subject?
I wanted to know
Other
will
subjects,
we
Subject, no,
separate
sir.
get more information.
Sir, I wanted to know will we have separate links for stats and CT?
Yeah, mostly it will be.
So you're not audible.
See you all in the next session. Okay.
Sir, I have a doubt in question number 14.
We share details of
Okay, so are you posting the solutions for this mock test?
Yeah, we'll be posting the details solution. There you can find. We'll meet in the next session. Okay. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, sir. Good night.
Hey.